I want to call the July 16, 2015 Daviess County Fiscal Court meeting to order. Commissioner Koger, would you lead us in a prayer and the pledge?
I'd like you to bow your heads, please, and have a silent moment for the passing of our late former commissioners, Mike Riney, Fred Marksbury, and also to support their families as they're going through a difficult time. Our Father, our Heavenly Father, please watch over our community, the homeless, and those who are in the hospital to a speedy recovery. Protect us from all harm. We humbly thank you for all the gifts we receive from you. We ask that you watch over those who protect us, especially those men and women who serve in our armed forces, law enforcement, fire departments, and emergency services. We ask for the wisdom, understanding, and courage to make right decisions for all of our citizens. We ask all things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner, and once again I want to welcome all of you to our July 16th meeting. Are you ready, Jenny?
Yes. Item 1, consideration for presentation. A, recognition of the Daviess County High School JV academic team national champions.
Okay, I think this is pretty cool that we're going to do this. When you say national, that means all over the United States. We had some people who were pretty smart and who did pretty good. I asked the commissioners, why don't we get a team together, let them put a team together, and we'll see who the smartest people are. And you know, did you? Yeah, we already know it's you guys. So it's Ann Koshi. Is it Koshi? Here? Are you here? You want to come forward and explain to us what this is all about? Because we want to recognize you, but we want to know just exactly what these young folks did. And as you come up, I look out in the audience, and some of you don't look so young. Oh, that's not the high schoolers. Yeah, that was aimed at you. That's correct. Okay.
Based on the achievements that the teams throughout the course of the year accomplish, the Q Unlimited is a company that creates quiz bowl materials, and they put on these national championship competitions in 3 locations during the summer. And if you qualify based on that, they send you an invitation. And so we qualified this year. They sent us the invitation. I asked the kids if they wanted to go. They said yes. So we went to Chicago. Chicago's the last of the 3. And based on the performance at Chicago, they determine who's the overall national champion. And so we competed in Chicago in pool play for 2 days, and then they seeded us in the final tournament, and they were undefeated in pool play, playing teams from a variety of states, Minnesota, Illinois, Ohio, just
all of them not smarter than us, of course.
Correct. Well, we beat them all, so the evidence supports that. And then we were seeded number 1 for the tournament, and we were undefeated through the tournament. And then at the end, they said based on the scores that they achieved, the average scores that they achieved for all of their games, that they were far and away the best of the 3 locations, so that they were the overall national champions as well. Okay.
Well, I think it's pretty cool in this press release, or what was written in the paper, where it says that the Daviess County JV averaged an astounding 375 points per game. That's more than the varsity champ Coronado. And that's pretty cool. And I want to tell you, not only did you make the Daviess County school system proud, but you made the entire county of Daviess proud of you. So I want to give you a standing ovation. Now, do we have any of those kids that want to step up and show us how smart they are?
4 members of the team are here.
Okay.
The others are all over.
Okay. Let's see the members of the team. Stand up, please. Okay, what's your specialty? Math, science? We're just putting you on the spot. Oh yes, the young lady will come on, embarrass the guys.
I'm science and history and general crap that no one else knows.
Okay. I bet your plumber knows. Next young fella.
I'm mainly math and some science.
Okay.
I'm math and science.
Okay.
Literature, art.
I knew it. I knew you would be the one that you're the glue that holds these nerds together, right? Okay. Well, once again, I want to tell you how proud we are that you represented Daviess County and our school system so well. I think it's a feather in our cap, and obviously, since you're number 1 in the nation, nobody else can make that claim. Commissioners, anybody have any? Yes, go ahead, Commissioner.
I just want to congratulate them, and I didn't have a clue that we had somebody from our local schools up there representing us. But when I read this in the paper, I was real proud of you. And as the judge said, you represent, all of Daviess County is proud of you, and we're glad to have you here today to tell you that.
Commissioners?
I'll just say congratulations, job well done. We appreciate it.
Congratulations, it is a job well done. It's something you'll always remember. Thank you.
Well, and the other thing I'm going to say, and I think we're missing something here, I want to congratulate Daviess County Schools and you, Ms. Koshy, for your leadership. I'm sure that they couldn't have done as well as they did without you standing behind them and encouraging them. So thank you for that. Anybody else out here in the audience want to say anything? Good.
Judge.
Yes.
And I'd just like to thank the parents too, because without them, you wouldn't be here today.
Okay.
Amen.
Well, thanks once again. You're welcome to stay. Yes, sir. You want to come?
I want to thank you guys for recognizing an academic.
Okay.
That doesn't happen very often. The sport this is really where the future of our community is at right
Okay.
Amen.
And amen to that. Yes. Okay, you are welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. I think you'll find it, compared to an academic team competition, you'll find it pretty boring, or you're welcome to leave, whichever you want to do. Okay? Next item, Jenny.
B, Empowerment Academy update by Chairman David Boswell.
All right, Senator Boswell, it's nice to have you back in our courtroom. The problem is that you got to follow all these smart kids, and
It's very timely. By the way, congratulations to
yes. Well, and I suspect that you're here to talk to us about some kids.
I am. It's a very timely situation. I think Commissioner Koger made note to congratulate the families, the parents of these young people, and the program that I'm here today to talk to you about is unique in that many of these students, high school students, do not have a very good home life. Some of them are homeless in our community. And Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, of course he was a very famous U.S. Poet and lecturer, he said, "The secret in education lies in respecting the student." There's a lot of students out here in our community, and I found it to be shocking myself that do not have the opportunities that probably these young people here have. The Empowerment Academy, as a matter of fact, on behalf of the Academy, I want to thank the Fiscal Court for allowing us an opportunity to come in and highlight our program. We do have a couple of the board members here with us today. Vicki Quisenberry, who is the Secretary-Treasurer of the Empowerment Academy. She is Secretary. Brenda's in charge of the money. She is with the Daviess County Public School System as well. And I saw Sister Sharon Sullivan come in. She's on our board. She's with Mount St. Joseph. The sisters at the Mount have been most helpful in helping us put this program in place. I'll quickly list the board members. Mike Ballard he is the vice chairman of the academy. Charlotte Burton is a board member. Brenda Clayton is a board member. Rachel Foster is a board member as well. Dedrick Jackson, Vicky, Sister Sharon, and Russ Wilkie is our general counsel. The Empowerment Academy is a long-term safe living place for students who are homeless, bouncing from one couch to another, or living in challenging situations. Many students fall into all three of these categories. The Empowerment Academy was established as a separate community-based support 501c3 organization. And these teens are in a survival mode and do not typically reach their academic capabilities, as well as their life skills. Many of them are lacking in life skills as well. What I have here in front of you is a diagram. This Good Sisters at Mount St. Joseph have agreed to lease to the academy for a 25-year lease, I believe it is, for $0 annually. And I think it's ironic that St. Angela Hall, where the academy will be located, was the home to what is now Brescia University. And I think that gives it a unique character as well. The Empowerment Academy will work with multiple partners. We'll be working with the schools, the counselors of the schools, student services, and family resource and youth service centers, as well as faith-based entities, emergency shelters, private counseling services, and many other services, agencies. Transiency is a significant issue, as well as the lack of life skills. Many of these kids do not have adequate life skills training. And the Empowerment Academy residents will stay in the high schools, which I think is another unique attribute. They'll stay in the high schools that they are presently involved with, and the superintendents of the school systems, the public and Owensboro and the Daviess County school systems have agreed to provide transportation for these students to and from the respective schools that they go to, back out to the Empowerment Academy facility. It's a very unique program, one that's a little difficult to talk about because there is not another program in the United States that we're aware of, right, Vicki, that is equivalent to this program. And these kids, it's not an institutional entity. It is a voluntary program. There will be very strict regulations and guidelines that these students will have to adhere to. And as you can see, looking at the diagram here, initially there's a total of 7,975 square feet on 3 floors that will be utilized. And of course there will be segregated areas. We have 12 female residents and 1 administrative room on the 2nd floor. 3rd floor will house an administrator room as well, and 14 male residents. The plan is to move the male residents in first, and then the female residents first, and then incorporate the male residents at a later date. There will be counselors available, strict supervision, rules that will have to be adhered to, and the students will have to understand the consequences totally if they break the rules. But the need is out there. And it's a $1.4 million project initially to renovate this building to house these students. And we're off to a pretty good start. My calculations say we have about a 4% of our total $1.4 million in the bank right now. We had a most generous contribution from a little Baptist church in Curtisville, Kentucky, that ironically, Russ Wilkie, who's one of our board members, his father was an early pastor of that church. And their population has declined, and they decided that it was time to move on. And they cleaned out their entire treasury and donated it to the academy. A total of about, before it's all said and done, roughly $62,000. And so we're very proud of that, and it sets the table for us to go into other faith-based entities and
David had
Yeah, there you go. David, could you, talk in the microphone, or she won't be able to,
The public
yeah.
will be
the amount of record.
Yeah.
I wanted to show you what was on the This program was initiated, came to our attention actually initially by Donna Lanham. Donna was, when I first met Donna, she was the principal at what was Beacon Central High School at the old Masonville Elementary School. She also was the Title I supervisor for the Daviess County school system, and she brought this initially to our attention. And I can speak firsthand to the need. My youngest son, our youngest son, Sandy, and my younger son, Todd, was a student at Beacon Central, and we observed firsthand how Donna interacted with these students that had special needs and disciplinary issues. And so she was kind of the godmother of this program, along with others. And our son Todd now is married, has 2 beautiful grandchildren for us, and has a great job at Swedish Match. He completed, I think, a community college program, and is in supervision and maintenance at Swedish Match. Has a good job. So there are a lot of kids out there in this community that have need for this program, and we're certainly grateful to the contributors that have contributed thus far, and to the sisters out at the Mount. You know, this is not a denominational program. It is a non-denominational program, and all students that want to be there will be given an opportunity, hopefully at some point in time, to be there. Vicki, would you like to add anything to what I've said? Not unless somebody has some questions that we'd like to ask. Sister? We'll be glad to entertain any questions that you might have. Obviously, we're not here today begging for money, but you know, down the road we do have some fundraisers scheduled. We have a golf outing scheduled in October. We have also a meet and greet fundraiser scheduled in September, I believe it is. We haven't set the exact date for that yet. We have a very aggressive board, and we're in high gear on this thing because we recognize the need for our community.
Okay.
Questions?
Commissioners, any questions?
What's your timetable to hopefully have?
Well, you know, obviously the $1.4 million, the quicker it comes in, it will accelerate the project.
Sure.
But you know, we're shooting for hopefully about a year and a half to be well into the construction phase of or renovation phase of what we're doing out there.
Okay.
David, did you? I don't remember hearing it, but the number of students that you eventually hope to have in there. There's how many? Initially, let's see, what 26, 30, right? 27 students initially. Okay. And I'm assuming, since this is going to be, this is not where the learning and teaching will be going on the standard academic stuff, although life skills and how to interact with other folks would actually, this becomes a real family, because I suspect most of these kids don't have much of a family life.
Right.
And I know in our point in time count that we do every year, the school system always identifies a certain number of students who are living with a friend, sleeping on a couch, or they really don't have any home life. And they are hard to count, and those kids are hard to teach because they've got other worries besides academic worries.
Right.
And I assume that will be the predominant kids that will be in this program.
Yes, we expect it to get them.
We need you to come up anyway.
For the record.
There you go.
We expect these children to come to us from several different directions. Judge Lisa's been very supportive of this program. She wants some options through the court system. CDW, we've worked with them. We've worked with some of the social services agencies. And of course, our teachers and counselors in the school tell us that we are probably going to have more of those in that couch hopper situation, and the ones living in challenging situations. Those should far outnumber the homeless. And last year in Daviess County Public Schools, I believe it was consistently between 260, 280 kids district-wide who were homeless.
The figure of 200 to 250 is the figure I had, so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's well over 200 kids.
Okay.
And of course, they're not all high school kids,
Right.
but, and then Nick has got pretty significant numbers in the city school
So
system.
when you say they're not all, is there an age limit
It's just for high school.
Just for high school?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
Commissioner?
Is there a maximum amount of time they can stay here, or do
No.
they, once they're in, or?
Once they're in, unless they do something to break the rules. But that's the one thing that we found that was consistent among the shelters that are here in town.
Mhm.
A few weeks is long-term
Okay.
for the shelters that are here. So this is something that the schools were telling us that we needed long-term housing for these children, or safe housing for them.
Commissioner Koger?
Is this the city and county here, or you reach out to other counties, or just
That's
mainly?
Davis County,
Okay.
just Davis County.
All right.
And the parochial system is involved as well.
Right.
Mhm.
So all the high schools.
I appreciate what you're doing. It takes a lot to get this thing started and get it going, and money's always an issue, so thank you for getting this thing started.
It's
And we're hoping it's going to alleviate some of the homelessness issues throughout the community, as well as these children grow up and are actually productive citizens, as opposed to continuing in their
Right.
homeless and challenging
Well, I
situations.
think there are options for homeless adults.
Mhm.
I don't know that there are any options for homeless children that I know of. Are there, Claude?
Not directly,
Not-
Judge.
yeah.
They mentioned that there are the 2 shelters that are available here.
Right, okay. Sister Sharon, I want to thank the Mount for participating in this. I know maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I served on a committee looking at how do we repurpose some of the buildings out the Mount. And I know something similar to this was one of the recommendations. So I'm pleased to see the Mount folk moving forward with it and participating. So thank you. Yeah. Okay. Yes, sir.
I just want to thank you all for your part in this, and Senator for stepping up to chair this. I appreciate you doing that, and Vicky's got a good crew working with her, and I appreciate your enthusiasm and your willingness to stay on point. So.
We feel that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, and at the end of the day, you know, these kids many of them are bright, ambitious, they want to succeed, and this will give them an opportunity to succeed. This program will.
Thank you very much. You're welcome to stay, as the other folks are, and we understand if you gotta leave. If you do leave, just leave the picture up here because it hides Oz and Richard's face, and I won't have to look at them.
It's always good to be back in the halls of government.
Yeah. Thank you. All right, next item.
Item 2, consideration for approval, A, minutes of the June 29th and July 2nd, 2015 court meetings.
Motion
Move to approve. Second.
I have a motion, second. Commissioners, you've had a copy of the both sets of minutes in your possession for some time. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
B, all claims for all departments.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion, second. Again, Commissioners, you've had a copy of all the bills due and payable by Davis County Fiscal Court in your possession. Do you have any questions for the County Treasurer? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
C, fund transfers.
Motion approved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Mr. Hendricks.
Yes, Judge, I request authority to make the following transfers. From the Solid Waste Operating Fund, $177 to the Solid Waste Debt Service Fund. From the General Fund, $470,000 to the Bond Fund for the downtown renovation, $300,000 to the Jail Fund, $500,000 to the Road Fund, $608,000 to the Bond Fund for WKU, $117,000 to the Bond Fund for the Operations Center Bond, and $370,000 from the Jail Fund to the Bond Fund for the Detention Center Bond. These are normal quarterly transfers, and they are budgeted. I request approval.
Question or comment from the Commission? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
D, AmeriCorps Host Agency Agreement for program year September 1st, 2015 through August 31, 2016.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and second. Mr. Hendricks, are you going to explain this, or do I have somebody here that can?
I can. The agreement, this is an annual agreement that the court signs if anyone's going to use the AmeriCorps program.
Right.
We use at least 2 that I'm aware of. There could be more, but in order to do that, the court needs to pass and agree to the agreement. It's a standard, it's required. The Fed administers the program. If you use a person from this program, I think the current cost is between $5,200 and $5,300, which ends up being pretty cheap for the labor that they get from that. But it's a typical agreement we sign annually.
And this has been going on for the 5 years that we've been
long
here. Yeah, and I know there are other not-for-profit agencies and social service agencies that also participate. It's really for $5,250, the employee that I'm thinking of works for the emergency management and saves the local citizens some money. Question or comment by the commission? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
E, Memorandum of Agreements and Resolutions 16 through 18, 2015 regarding HB235 Coal Severance projects totaling $99,177.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and second. Mr. Hendricks.
A couple of years ago, the court decided to participate in 12 projects to extend water lines to properties that currently did not have access to water, to county water. We completed 9 of those projects. We used coal severance money, and there's a couple of pots of that. This pot is the LGED coal severance funds. We couldn't do all of the projects because our funding has been declining over the last several years, so it took longer to accumulate the dollars to cover the projects. So we were able to do the prior ones and finish those last June, and so we've had to wait this long to get this accumulated $99,000. And while this is not the total, this is the amount of money that will come from the LGED coal severance pot. The memorandum of agreements are with the Kentucky Infrastructure Authority. Once, if you approve these and we send those in, then I will get back information, and there's a whole long list of steps that will begin to take place in order to get this done. There's a lot of agencies involved, a lot of approvals that we have to get first, but I administered the last group, and I will administer these 3. These 3 are for Iceland Road. The amount of money we'll get back from LGED is $47,177. Texas Gas Road, we'll get back $22,000, and Greenback Road, and we'll get back $30,000. The property owners will pay $3,000 per person that's interested in participating, and I've called all of the ones that were involved before, and they're still wanting to participate. The West Water District will give us $2,000 per household that signs up on Greenback Road. And then the court will fund the remaining, which will be less than $30,000 out of the LGEA money. So this is the last 3 projects, and I reviewed them. They're similar to the ones we did before, and I would recommend approval.
Okay, so we had a total of 12 projects. We completed 9 of those. These are the final 3. Coal severance tax, commissioners, as all of you are aware, has been dwindling away, diminishing quite quickly. But we will be able to complete a goal that this court set forward, 3-4 years ago, and was of particular importance to former Commissioner Mike Riney. He was always pushing this as well. Any question or comment?
Judge, this completes the water for all county residents now, is that correct?
It probably does not get all of them, because there are some that chose not to participate.
I inherited the project when Nate Pagan left, but in talking to him and seeing the records, there are other places where there was no water, but the people living there chose not to participate at that point. There are other houses since then, or even at that time, that weren't picked up for a variety of reasons. So it's not all, but of the ones that the initial projects they had, if at least 60% of the people wouldn't participate, the project didn't go. So there's some others.
And Commissioner, as I said, we dedicated the previous fiscal court that we served on, dedicated that coal severance tax money to do this. at the end of these 3 projects, there will not be a pot of money that county residents can come to court and ask to extend water lines anymore. That pot is gone. The project is complete.
Okay.
So,
Thank
any
you.
other questions or comments? Question or comment by the public? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
F, Resolution 19, 2015, regarding the transfer of non-hazardous to hazardous coverage for the Sheriff's Department.
Motion approved.
Second.
I have a motion second. Mr. Hendricks.
Gentlemen, this is a resolution that's required by the Kentucky retirement system. It helps the sheriff's office define hazardous positions. This will eliminate the need to request each position separately. From our perspective, from the court's perspective, there's no changes because all of the positions that they're requesting have historically been hazardous. And by doing this document, if the court approves, then it'll be sent to KRS. If they approve, then those will just be grandfathered in. Those positions will be labeled hazardous and they won't have to reapply on an individual basis. So there's really not a change. It just makes it permanent. What they'd like to do in the resolution is designate hazardous for the positions of sheriff, chief deputy, major, captain, lieutenant, sergeant, corporal, deputy, and detective. I've reviewed the request. I would anticipate that the KRS will rubber stamp the approval and because those positions have historically been hazardous anyway. So I would recommend approval.
Question or comment by the commission? Question or comment by the public? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
G, authorize the Daviess County Clerk to proceed with plans to renovate offices and approve to advertise for project number 42, 2015.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion second. Commissioners, I think each and every one of you have had an opportunity to talk to the clerk about what he was wanting to do regarding his offices. I'm going to ask Oz or you or Richard to come up and just give us a brief explanation. I think in the end what the attempt is to actually upgrade and modernize those offices. I don't think that they've been changed or anything's been done to them substantially in the last 20 years. And as each and every one of you know, at the beginning and the end of every month, we have a long line of folks standing in the hallway trying to do their transfers and do the things that they need to do. So, County Clerk.
Thank you,
Did I get that right?
You did. You got it right. County Clerk.
Oh, it's the Court Clerk, Susan Tierney.
Susan Tierney.
Okay,
sorry.
I like her.
But you're exactly right. But we've been looking at this project since last fall, and our line situation has been cut down dramatically just for the fact that people, we've talked about this before too, about mailing in their renewals. We've got a phone-in renewal now, and in the near future, pretty quickly, we're going to have a 24-hour phone-in line that people will be able to do renewals. And all, certainly for the ease of the public to be able to avoid coming downtown, which is good for a lot of reasons, including parking down here being one of the main ones. But we didn't want to remodel, and as you said, Judge, we didn't want to just remodel for the sake of remodeling the clerk's office. We wanted to do some time studies on it and some efficiency studies to see if we could better utilize what we had. And as you all know, we've explained about our personnel through attrition. We've dropped personnel. And just the fact that we are going to be able to, everybody's going to be cross-trained in the automobile department where they can do transfers and renewals. And that used to be in the day when Claude and I first started back in the day, I say that those officers were the same, and for some reason they were divided, and it might have been a good reason at that time. But it would be more efficient for people to come in at a one-stop shop. And as all of us in this room know, you go down to the clerk's office, there's a tremendous amount of space that's wasted down there. Mr. Koger comes down, he's in construction, he sees that, and anybody can see it. So we've got the, and I know all of you have seen this diagram. I'll let you look it over. I don't know if they wanted to, I wish we could have got a picture in the paper. My father got the paper the first thing this morning, said, "My gosh, son, I didn't know it was $400,000.
Well, we're still saying that.
I know. You know, that's great, Dad. Thanks. I appreciate it. But when you look at it in two phases, Richard, you help me hold that over here on this side, and all of you have seen this again, but thank you, Kelly. On the renewal side, the way it is now, there's a wall almost right here with the clerks that are sitting there. And that space, you can see all the stations are going to be around the edge. The desk space will be larger. And people will be able to come into the renewal transfer station and queue up inside this larger area, alleviating people standing out there in the middle of the hall, and us be able to wait on them faster and get them out faster if they got a renewal or transfer, either one. Over here on the legal side, it will be smaller, or the mortgage people that do mortgages and recording side get licenses. That'll be a little bit smaller. But also it'll be a lot more secure for my personnel. People are not going to be able to walk in and walk behind and get behind those areas. This will all be card access to get in there. But the main gist of it, and back over, I say, my side where my office is, that's now the transfer side, will be voting. We'll have everything on one floor. Everything will be accessible to the public. And it certainly be a little nicer environment than it is. Sound dampening, make it not. Our office is loud. When I came from the sheriff's department down to the clerk's office, I mean, I was used to sitting up here. It's like a church up here, so quiet. You know, and you got down there, I was like kind of getting buggy. Everybody was talking so much. So it'll just be a lot more quiet for the public. But as I said to Commissioner Castle and I were talking too, and I've mentioned this, even if we didn't do the renovation, we have got to do an upgrade on the electric system down there, because the state is bringing in all this new equipment that we've got. We've already had electrical engineers and looked, and they said the system that's in there is not going to handle all this new equipment that's coming in. So even if you did away with that, you're going to have electrical engineers come in and redo the electric system. So I just want the public to know, all of you realize, and I realize, $400,000, which I don't think it'll be that much after we get the bid process out. I realize that's a lot of money, and it's taxpayers' money. And I want to be a good steward of that money, and you all are good stewards and want to be good stewards of it. And I just think this will better serve, I know it will better serve the public and this building, because certainly we all know we're not going to get a new courthouse anytime soon. So it needs to be updated, and this will certainly be more efficient to do it. So there's my spiel.
Well, I appreciate you doing that, and as long as I've known you in the position that you've had, you've never wasted money, and that gives me a good feeling to know that this isn't being wasted either. That it's our responsibility as a fiscal court. This is the people's house, and we want to make sure that it's a nice place for the people to come and do business, because in the end, we have a monopoly on that business. They can't go someplace else.
And there's more traffic in my office than anywhere in this building. Right. So I appreciate you saying that, and again, I just think it'll be more efficient and better for our people here in Daviess County.
Commissioners, any question or comment?
How in the world are you going to make it through the transition while you're under construction?
Well, I mean, we're already chewing our fingernails on that, and it's going to be, certainly we've started it, Commissioner. We've got a lot over on the transfer side now, and we're doing that now, and you're going to see a line, and I hope the public, I want them to be, Don, I want them to be aware that, you know, we're going to have a backup there to start with. We really are. And somebody came in today, Claude, and said, my gosh, you're moving the recording down the basement? Well, it's just temporary. We're going to move them down the basement till we can get it done, but it's going to be rough. I mean, there's no doubt it's going to be rough, because it's major change, but we can do it, and we're going to be able to do it, but it's going to be a little uncomfortable for about 6-7 months to do. Well, months, because we've already moved them over. Yeah. So, and started to some degree. And also, I say that we've got a separate department now that we've already started with. They'll do nothing but fleets and dealers. We have a lot of dealers here in Daviess County, big ones, small ones, and these deputies will take care of that only, freeing up the line clerks for nothing but transfers and renewals.
I once was asked, how would we rank the clerk's office?
I did not ask
among
that,
all the
and now
clerk's
you're gonna-
offices in the Commonwealth, and I said, I think we've got the #1 clerk's office. So we have a lot of
I
faith.
appreciate that.
A lot of faith in you guys.
Thank you. You need to say
Any
thank
other
you
questions?
too, Richard.
Just got a comment. Maybe a consideration would be, you know, a lot of times you can do temporary walls and work on part of it, and maybe evening shift could fall into play on the construction side, which might save some disturbance.
Absolutely. Well, you know, they were talking about asbestos abatement over there, Commissioner, and that where they were, when they talked about everybody clearing out and doing it all at one time, that was, yeah,
That's
part of that.
major. Yes.
Any other questions? Any questions by the public? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Bring it in about 300,000, Oz.
I would like to add, and we've talked about that, the bids will come through the court. And,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Jordan, I know you'd be so happy to work with you. Thank you.
Well,
all.
I told the engineer he'd be in there, and he said, "Oh, I can get some more road money. I'll just take a little bit of that." And
Just say that.
thank you,
all.
guys.
I
Okay.
appreciate it.
Next item.
H, contract with Weaver Engineering for the land farming facility permitting proposal.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion. Second, Mr. Smith.
Yes, the Solid Waste Department has decided we would like to start diverting more of our sludge from the contained landfill, and so we want to we need to apply for a land farm permit, and it is a lengthy permit, dozens of pages, and requires soil studies and the like to ensure that so they can determine what rate of sludge we can put down. So we are suggesting that we hire Weaver Consultants. We received 2 quotes, and we felt they were the best.
Where are these guys out of, this firm?
They have an office in Frankfort, Kentucky.
Okay, and well, it's good to have an office there, I guess, if that's where you're going to get your permits. And so they have some expertise in.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Question and comment by the commission. Question or comment by the public. There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I, transit vehicle lease agreement with Ricky Moore Trucking LLC and authorization for judge executive to execute said agreement.
Motion approved.
Second.
I have a motion. Second, Mr. Smith.
Yes, as the court is aware, we took over operations of the Henderson transfer station when we were in the process of looking at either operating it ourselves or contracting it out. An issue arose of if we contracted it out, how would the convenience center trash, which is directly in front of their building, get transported up to the top? We mentioned at that time we knew we were budgeted this year to receive a new roll-off vehicle, that would enable us to have an older one that we could lease to whoever won the contract. So this is to follow through on that. This is a 1993 truck. It has basically no value except for scrap at this point. The distance that it will be, this lease is contingent. 1 is they can only use it on the site. 2, they are responsible for all maintenance. They've got to license it. They're responsible for all costs. And 3, they can't take it off the site, so that they can't use it to compete with anybody else. And also, it will end if they end. In other words, they don't get to keep this if they lose the contract in 5 years.
In other words, it's going with the site. It will not be on the open road, and the reason we're taking it off and replacing it's become unreliable.
It is, in fact, we took it off of the road, and it works now exclusively at the landfill to transport the waste from the convenience center up there to the working face.
Question or comment by the commission? Question or comment by the public? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
J, bicycle share lease agreement.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Mr. Lee.
Judge, with the assistance of our County Attorney Claude Porter, we present to you an agreement for a term of 1 year with a potential extension for 2 years for space not to exceed 30 by 10 feet on the east side of Fairview Drive at Horse Fork Creek Park. Borough Bikes is interested in providing a facility to be able to rent bicycles. They shall pay the county $25 a month. Borough Bikes shall bear the risks of damage to or loss of any of their merchandise, so it's not anything that we would be responsible for. Additionally, there is insurance that is required, as well as a hold harmless for the court. Would be happy to entertain any questions, and I would recommend approval.
Claude, this is pretty much a standard contract.
Yes, it is,
And
Judge.
it's one that we enter into and holds us harmless and
Right.
all the things.
They're required to have their own insurance. They're required to maintain the facilities and the equipment.
There is no cost to Daviess County Fiscal Court
sir.
other than we're giving them, what, 30 square foot of space and
30 times 10. So
or 300 square foot of space, and they're paying us $25 a month for
Yes, sir.
that. Okay. Question or comment by the commission? And I think this is pretty good, don't you, Ross? I mean, it makes bicycles available
Sure.
at a central location where the green belt intersects city and county, and sometimes folks don't want to transport their bikes or ride their bikes. It makes them available to rent, and if they can't afford a bike, it also makes it available for those who might be able to afford a rental.
Yes, sir.
You know what it's gonna cost to rent a bike?
I don't, and looking at it offhand, it would have to be very minimal. Obviously, it's a you know, from an entrepreneurial perspective, you know, it seems like a great opportunity. We've discussed potential sites at Yellow Creek and Panther Creek as well in years to come if it works out.
If the first site works out, then we could certainly talk to them. I do see where Borough, B-O-R-O, is located here in the city.
Yes.
So they are local, so they
Yes,
would
sir.
have local representatives.
And they will have a secondary site over at the convention center.
Oh, okay.
With bicycles as well. They don't anticipate bicycles being relocated from one facility to the other, but I do know that with the Owensboro Transit providing bicycle racks on the front of their buses, you may see those, you know, throughout.
Okay.
Do you know how many?
Yes.
Do you know how many bikes they
I think
plan
there's
to
4
have?
at this point as an initial investment, and then it can grow. It runs off of solar power and communicates through a credit card, and it's pretty. As a side point, at the operations center, we've got a Coke machine where we slide our credit cards for 50 cents to get a Coke, and it's pretty. You know, I guess that's how this stuff works as well.
Okay.
However, they make that happen.
Right.
Any other question or comment? Question or comment by the public? Where's Mr. Public when we need him, George? There being no other comment, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
K, purchase a 2-ton asphalt hot box and a 12 cubic yard salt spreader for the road department.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion second. Mr. Johnson, you're on.
Yes, Judge. Concerning the hot box, currently we have a marginal waste with asphalt. We can only use it while it's hot. Once it cools down, we have to discard of that material. This box keeps the asphalt hot. It allows us to use 100% of the material. It allows us to get more asphalt at a time. We should see sizable savings in trip and waste reduction. Concerning the 12 cubic yard salt spreader, this is for our new tandem dump truck from bid number 4, 2015. We received this truck on June 12th of this year. This will be fitted to the truck in preparation for the winter months.
Okay, you know, Mr. Johnson, you explained that hot box a whole lot better than the county engineer did while we were out riding around this morning. How'd you learn so much about it and he knew so little?
No comment.
Okay. Commissioners, any question or comment? Question or comment by the public? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. It was in our budget, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
L, award bid number 29, 2015, new phone system.
Motion approved.
Second.
I have a motion second. Mr. Johnson.
Yes, Judge. The fiscal court received one bid concerning bid number 29, 2015. The bid of Business Communications Solutions, LLC, was the only bid received. They had no exceptions to our bid documentation. It is our recommendation to award this bid to Business Communication Solutions in the total amount of $63,815.53. It should be noted that this bid was a joint venture between the Central Dispatch of the City of Owensboro and Daviess County Fiscal Court. Per a previously agreed upon method of allocation, the Fiscal Court will pay $45,386.48 of the total, and Central Dispatch or the City of Owensboro will pay $18,429.05 of the total.
Okay. And this actually came in under our anticipated cost?
That is correct.
By what, about $5,000
Roughly $5,000 under.
Okay. Question or comment? Why are we needing a new phone system? One I called that guy today, it worked just fine.
Our current system is approaching 18 years of age. Its reliability is questionable, which raises concerns since we serve as the backup to the Central Dispatch and 911.
Sounds like you and I had the same conversation this morning. It's the same answer you gave me.
Yeah.
Parts and pieces just are not available anymore for the phone system that we have.
That is correct.
Okay. All right. Any other comment or question? Comment or question by the public? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
M, advertise for the following bids. Number 37, 2015, a new 2015-2016 crew cab truck for the landfill. 38, 2015, a new 4x4 full-size pickup truck for the road department. 39, 2015, a new 15-16 crew cab truck for the fire department.
I have no idea. I didn't make the agenda.
FR.
Fire department, yeah.
40, 2015, a new 15-16 SUV for the fire department. 41, 2015, judicial center window project.
Motion approved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Mr. Johnson, do you want to give us a little more detail on this? And you may as well just leave the road department and fire department out. We're not going to buy those trucks.
Yes, Judge. Starting with bid number 37, one new 2015-16 crew cab truck. This is for the landfill. It will be replacing a 2006 Ford F-150. That current vehicle will then be used as a transport to the work face. Each day it will transport 2 operators and 2 laborers. Moving down to bid number 38, 2015, for one new 4x4 full-size pickup truck for the road. This is a replacement of a 2004 Chevrolet Silverado. Moving down to bid number 35, 2015, one new 2015-16 crew cab truck for fire rescue. This vehicle will function primarily as an assistant fire chief's vehicle. This vehicle will replace a 2009 F-250 that in turn will be replacing a 1974 Pierce at Stanley Fire Department. Moving down to bid number 40, 2015, one new 2015-16 SUV for fire rescue. This vehicle will function primarily as the fire chief's vehicle. It will be replacing a 2005 Chevrolet Tahoe. It should be noted